do I get rid of this damn? There we are.
We're on record now.
Excellent.
Okay, before we begin with this, I get that. Want to do the statement first or the polling to make sure we're all here? Well, I'll do roll call. Larry, Brophy?
I'm present.
You're not, okay. Brendan, Lowry?
Present.
Okay, Judith Underwood?
Present.
Bill Powers?
Present.
And I'm Don Howell. We have guests, but we'll introduce them as we go along. Charlene, would you read the statement about remote meeting?
I don't have it quite handy. Does anybody else?
I don't.
As required by open meeting law, you are hereby informed that the town will video and audio tape as well as live broadcast this public meeting. In addition, anyone who plans to video or audio tape this meeting must notify the chairman prior to the meeting.
Call it to order, Don.
I think he's frozen.
Can Dawn hear us, Charlie?
I have no idea. I think he's frozen.
Okay. Pretty warm out, too.
Nope. He moved.
Don, you've been frozen this whole time?
Good luck.
We have, can you hear me now?
Yep. I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what just happened. It just kicked me off. It says you didn't have enough bandwidth. Okay, so we're all here. And John, did you make the statement? Because I only portion.
The statement has been read.
Okay, let's hurry up before this thing finds a new way to torture us.
Okay.
All right, so assuming there's no one else on from the public other than our guests. Okay, in that case, we're going to move along. We have approval for minutes that are outstanding.
I would move the minutes be approved as published, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I will be abstaining. That was Joe.
Okay. Dawn?
Only
Can you hear me, Dawn?
yeah, because we did not notice anything but the I can hear you.
Okay, it's been.
Not sure why. So you're just going to have to bear up with this. I'm sorry.
Don, if you have other applications open.
Larry motioned to approve the minutes, and we can only approve. Nope. Let me see if I get rid of the form, what it does.
There you go now. I can hear you.
Okay, so we have a guest, Art Bowden. I just want to take note of that. We have minutes were motioned by Larry, and as I said, we were only noticed on the agenda. Great, but the only thing that the agenda has is for the one set of minutes, June 18th. That's it. That's all we can approve. So
That's so moved.
that what your motion was, Larry?
Yes. Approved as
Anyone
published.
second?
And I second it. Judith.
Judith is seconded. Any further comment? Okay, I'm going to poll Larry.
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
I would do. No, I would do. We're going to do a vote.
Okay. Aye.
So, Brendan?
Aye.
Judith?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Joe, you weren't there. I'm an aye.
Same.
Why does this thing have like a 4-second jet lag?
You're calling up the other side of the moon.
That
Would
is East
you
Harwich.
consider- would you consider dialing in only for landline? Would that work?
Yeah, it's one of my last choices, but I'll try.
Make sure you mute your computer though, if you are calling in.
I get that. We're not at that point, but I get it. Hold on.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound or hash. This conference will now be recorded.
Darlene, can you mute Don's computer?
I just muted it. You guys hear me now? Without any echo?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
This is fun. All right. So we just barely got through the approval of minutes. It's time for the annual reorganization.
Mr. Chairman, this is Art Bowden. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to squeak in a couple little comments right now, and then you won't have to bother you later on. Is that okay?
Anyone have any objections?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, Don, I just want to let you know that I made contact with Chris Weiss, and I had a nice conversation with him this morning, and we're going to go forward. We're having a meeting. I don't know exactly when. I got to get my committee together for the time, but he's championed at the bit to come and make his presentation to us. And he told me he's got all kinds of plans and whatever. And he's talked to all kinds of people, and he's willing and able to talk to us. So I'll keep you posted when that happens.
Appreciate it, because ultimately I'm interested in hearing from both him and from you, but not until he goes through you so that you can tell us how you feel.
Okay, and the second thing I want to just point out there is that, well, the rest of the committee doesn't understand, didn't hear this, but when was it? Yesterday, we went into Hyannis and we visited the hack project on Ridge Road.
We would be you and I.
Pardon?
We would be you and I, so that everybody knows who we is.
Yeah, okay, it was Don and myself. Anyway, we had a walkthrough on their project there, 8 units. A very nice job. It was a modular construction. It has full basements. As far as the design goes, I would call it kind of vanilla looking. but it's nice looking and it's a very accommodating. For various and sundry reasons, they went with, they have 8 units, I said that. 6 of the units are 1 bedroom and 2 are 2 bedrooms. And the parking, they put that around the side and around the back. It's landscaped nicely. It's a nice looking project. It's not quite what we would be looking for on Sisson Road, because I think we want a little more embellishments on Sisson Road, but they did a pretty decent job. Anyways, and it pointed out what you can get for $1.8 million. That was their construction cost on the project. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Doesn't stretch as far as it used to. I'm sure Laura would agree.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Art. Does anybody have any questions for Art?
Nope, thank you, Art.
Thank you, Art. You can stay on and, one at the meeting.
I will. Thank you.
So we're back to reorganization. It's that time of year again. So I'll entertain any motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the chairman, Don Howell, be nominated for another term.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Larry and seconded by Brendan to nominate me. Is there anyone else that wants to make a motion? Okay, hearing none. Larry, we're going to poll and vote.
I would vote in favor. Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
My screen just went blank. That's terrific. Judith?
Aye.
And Joe?
Aye.
Okay, so that's unanimous. Someone want to make a motion for Mr. Brophy as vice chair?
I'll make a motion for Mr. Brophy as vice chair.
That would be Judith.
Second.
Here. Brendan?
Yes.
Judith?
Yes.
And Joe?
Aye.
Okay, I'm in favor also. That's unanimous. I'd like to get down to as far as clerk, because we've got a 5-person board, and that would mean that if we got as far as that, we wouldn't have a quorum anyway if the clerk wasn't available. So rather than appointing pro tem chairs, if we get down to 3 people, would somebody like to make a motion for the clerk?
I'd move, Mr. Chairman, it's Brophy. I would move, the current chairman is Brendan. I mean, the current clerk is Brendan.
Okay, and you are?
I'm nominating Brendan, renominating Brendan again.
And I'll second that. That's Judith.
Okay. So it was moved by Larry and it was seconded by Judith to have Brendan remain as clerk. Any further nominations? Hearing none. Larry?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
Judith?
Aye.
And Joe?
Aye.
Okay, so that's unanimous. All right.
Don,
Again, I don't.
Don, you got kicked off of your computer, so you're only on the phone now.
How did that happen?
Having a clue.
Can I have a glass
I'm
of
going to try
water?
one more time to follow the link. Hold on.
And I do want to note, Laura is only available until just before 3:30.
Okay, well, she's up next. If I can ever get this thing to work. That's
Don't worry
cool.
about it, we can hear you.
Yeah, I love it. It's saying, can't reach this page. Terrific. Okay. Well, we'll go audio. Try one more thing. Cool. There it is. Nah, it's not going to work. I'll just go audio. Sorry, folks. Okay, so we're talking about Sisson Road housing development right now, and I know we had Laura Schufelt here before. Let's see. It's still not working. Laura, you're still here, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Everybody was sent. Session's already running. Everybody was sent a copy of the RFP. Does anybody have any further comments about it?
Larry, it's Joe.
This is Larry. The only question that I had is that, and I'm sure, Laura, there's a couple of blank spots that have to be filled in with dates and names and so on and so forth, but that's relatively pro forma. I don't have any difficulty there.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Joe, I asked that the pages be numbered.
Good point. And not just numbered, 1 of, 2 of, 3 of.
Sure.
Yeah, that happens when we get through the edits, usually. Yeah,
I had one clarification that I wanted to ask you, Laura.
sure.
The way this is written, we had talked about a rental manager. The way this is going out, they're one and the same, aren't they? The developer becomes the rental manager?
Usually, I mean, at times, sometimes they hire somebody else to be the rental manager. They either have to, when they do the proposal, tell you who the rental manager is going to be if it's not going to be them, or tell you the process they're going to use to hire somebody. And the rental manager has to get approved through the funding sources, so they have to be experienced and done affordable housing and all that. Know how to income eligible and make sure everyone's income eligible and follow the rules of affordable housing. So,
No, I get that, but my concern is in this particular area, this is diminishing returns. Art pointed out that we went up to Hyannis. HAC is still in the game. They're still doing developing and property management. I talked with Jake Coburn a few weeks ago, and basically he's doing property management, but he doesn't have in-house developer capabilities anymore. Neither does Hesh. So eventually, the people who would bid on this, if it's both functions that are going out at the same time, I'm not aware of any charitable. I mean, the housing authorities don't do development in general. Habitat does live-in houses. It's a completely different model. I'm only aware of HAC that would even qualify to both develop and manage.
but they could hire, but a different developer could hire somebody else to manage it.
Okay.
That's what typically happens. Is it the developer hires a management company to come in and manage it.
Right, and if that's the case,
Okay, I'm only saying this because in advance, because this is in a well-established neighborhood, and I'm sure this is going to come up, by the people who live in and around that area. They're going to want to make sure that it's managed properly.
but it also be clear.
Yeah, I agree. That's important. And like I said, the proposal will have either who they're going to hire or the process by which they would, hire somebody to
Yeah, it's
manage.
part of their pitch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If it's not going to be them, then who's it going to be?
Is there a way of vetting that? I mean, is part of the evaluation criteria?
Well, you vet either who they say it's going to be or their process, and then, like I said, whoever it's going to be is going to need subsidy money, and the management agent has to be approved by whoever's providing the subsidy money. If it's the state, usually it's the state that provides it, or whoever's doing the permanent financing also has to approve it. So, yeah, it's not just, Joe Pickup.
Oh, no offense to our interim town administrator, Joe.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think we've met Joe.
He's even nicer in person.
That's good.
You want to just walk us through anything that you think that we would need to know, because it really looks pretty good at this point.
Yeah, I think I took some of the direction that we were given, and we kind of, Katie and I kind of went forward with filling in the blanks on the unit types, the affordability. Did the Wellfleet design guidelines get to you guys? What was your
Lawrence Road design guidelines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wellfleet.
Wellfleet, yeah. Was that something that you would want tweaked for Harwich, or do you want to not have design guidelines? Or that was the one question that I had that's still outstanding. They obviously have the modern design as well.
There was a big value to Art taking me up to Hyannis, because he's right. It was a real vanilla project, and you could probably get away with that when you're diagonally across from the Ford dealership in Hyannis.
Yeah.
Chevy? Yeah, down the road is Ford.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's a really robust, citified area. I mean, and as we discussed before, it's nice to have an elevation picture, of what we're kind of looking for. But design guidelines, I think we had all agreed last time that we were willing to get into some subsidies to be able to make this look like it belongs in that neighborhood. But I'll open that up to the committee to discuss.
I would think, Mr. Chairman, that if we had a few embellishments on there, that it would have a little bit of distinctive look of Cape Cod. I think that would give you additional points. Outside of that, we can't be asking for a great deal because we're looking for efficiency and cost. But outside of that, it would be nice to look like Cape Cod.
Yeah, pretty much what they were looking at in the embellishments that aren't super expensive in order would be like dog houses and or some front porch at the entranceways.
Right, which was what Hat's original design had. The original design had porches and I mean, they kind of have porches now, sort of.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that gets translated into an RFP response so that they're recognizing that that's what we're doing.
Right. So we can do it two ways. You can do like what Wellfleet did and do design guidelines and have the kinds of things like they had, or we can put in the criteria and the scoring criteria, evaluation criteria, you know, adding porches and architectural features, and we can name them, or we can, you know, give examples of what they could be in a highly advantageous category. So they'd get, you know, bonus points for doing it.
Have any recommendations?
I lean more towards the design guidelines, because then you have pictures. You know, you show the kinds of things like that you want to see, and that, yeah, I lean more towards that. It's not real prescriptive, but it's, and then, you know, the more that you can kind of do both, a design guideline, and then the more that they, you know, the more architectural features, the higher the scoring. But it's up to you guys. If you want to just put it in the evaluation criteria, I can do that as well.
I would think we could just write them, Mr. Chairman, as opposed to putting them down. And, you know, it's always in the eye of the beholder when you try to, if you give an example, everybody will give the same thing back. If you just write them out and let the architects use a little imagination, it probably works out just as well. They know what Cape Cod is.
But to Laura's point, we need to have some criteria at the end that we can quantify in order to pick one over another.
Yeah.
Right. I can do that.
Laura.
Well, I guess my point is you can't just say after they open, that looks cool.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, can I chime in?
Yes, Charlene, I believe.
Yep, it is. Sorry. So personally, I think to have design guidelines would be extremely helpful to anybody who is responding to this and looking through. That's why I'm offline visually, because I've been looking at stuff through my computer, so you wouldn't see me anyway. But on the design guidelines that were sent, pages 1 through 9, page 12, page 14 and 15, I think would be, in my opinion, ideal for this. And I think even the photographs that are used, regardless of whether it's, you know, something in Wellfleet or something here in Harwich, I think it's just good examples of, you know, the quaint New England architecture that I think we're trying to get.
What pages were you looking at, 12 and 13?
1 through 9.
Yeah.
12, 14, and 15. So
Okay, good, because I was going to say 13 doesn't look so hot.
No, that's why I'm not suggesting, you know, some of the modern, because up in Wellfleet, you know, you can, the modern pitched roofs and the dormers and everything are, I think, fit better there, absolutely.
Right.
But if you're trying to keep the New England character, actually not 9, not the creative mix of New England and modern. I don't think that's something that we want to promote necessarily.
Not unless we're putting this next to the Guggenheim Museum.
I mean, it looks really cool, but it's going to look kind of funky on that corner, in my opinion. But I just think design guidelines are very helpful for anybody responding.
This is Joe. Can I ask a question?
Sure, Joe.
John, what document are you referring to with those page numbers?
Lawrence Road Design Guidelines. It's one of the attachments from last week that Carlene sent out.
My packet only goes up to page 13.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I thought I heard a reference to pages 14 and 15.
I think you did too.
I'm looking at the packet, but I pulled it down from our committee site on the town website. And it's like 40 inches long.
If
And
you,
inside of that, it's embedded, but it's not,
yeah.
I think it's like number 43 is page 13, for example.
right, page 9, which has the creative mixed use, is page 37 of the document that was posted to the website. I'm not sure why what you guys got, it doesn't match.
It cuts off at 13 for all of us who got it off the packet.
I didn't send it, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, I'm not.
I think it's only 13 pages long, isn't it?
I don't know if there's a 14 and 15.
I only have 13 pages.
I have 13.
I sent it and I only have 13, so.
Starting a creative mix of New England modern design, which
Yeah, there are only 13.
that is 7.
Even if you're looking at the big packet, that's, yeah.
Creative mix is
Right.
page 7.
So I would lose
Two
page
separate-
7, 8, 9.
There's two separate things going on here.
10.
First, we agree that we want to use this design guidelines. So let's talk about that quickly. We all agree on that? Well, given the fact that it's going to front Sisson Road and it's going to be right near a historic area, do we agree that there should be some design guidelines?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, somebody want to make a motion that we include, just generally, that we include road design guidelines?
Well, I would make that. Just to put general guidelines in, I would make that motion, yes.
Okay, so Larry's
And
made a
I'll
motion.
second that.
Judith is going to second it. Any further discussion that we include design guidelines, just in general? So, okay, let's take a vote. Larry?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
Judith? Judith, are you here?
Aye.
Okay, and Joe?
Aye.
Yep. Aye.
Don, can I interrupt for a quick second?
Yeah, Brendan, sure.
So real quickly, in the building design area, it does say preferably meets the design guidelines of the Harwich Historic Commission. There is language in there for that. We're looking to elaborate on that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're saying that we're going to include some explicit guidelines along, but that's the next motion about what it is you want to look at. The other one's too nebulous because we're not going to build a historic two quads. It's not even going to be possible. Everybody still here? I can't see anybody.
Everybody is.
Still here. Yeah. I'm going to call in on my phone. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You should have intermission music. We'll get you out of here pretty soon, Laura. We're almost done.
All right, well, I have a few things that I need to bring to your attention before we leave, before I leave.
That was going to be my question to you while she's logging in. Do you need the specific guidelines at this meeting, or can we do that as a second component through the email so we have that ready for the next meeting?
You can't do it through email. That's open meeting law stuff.
No, have it sent out to us so that we know what we're talking about.
Yes, and I can work with Charlene, who's very good at that kind of, the design stuff to help.
Okay. That's all I want out of this is we've already agreed that there'll be supplemental design guidelines. For next meeting, you can supply us with suggested design guidelines so that we can vote on them.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay, then that's as far as I want to get with this. And then we'll just defer back to you for what you want to present.
Okay.
That's fine. I think if you just give general guidelines to Laura, Mr. Chairman, that if she brings them back, we can all read them prior to the next meeting and know what we're talking about instead of just rambling and going down the road where we don't know down the road we don't know the end of.
Right.
That's what I'm suggesting because this meeting has become an electronic nightmare anyway. So let's just stay where we're at and then have her present more of what she wanted to present in the first place.
Absolutely. Laura knows what to do.
Okay, I do want you to be, really look at the evaluation criteria and make sure that that reflects what you're looking for in evaluating the proposals, because this is how you score it. This is how you judge what comes in. So make sure that it reflects what you want, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to underscore that for you, Laura, because most of the people here aren't necessarily familiar with RFP construction.
Right.
Just simply put, for government's purposes, if it ain't in this RFP, you can't do anything to rearwardly apply it to bidders. So Laura's really telling you to take real care about what it is you want to give evaluation scores for, because once it's baked in the cake, it's done. It goes out, and that's what you're stuck with.
You can't then say, oh, but I really wanted you to do this too. Done.
You bet. That's what I'm saying to them. Is that this is the time, if you got something that you want, to talk about it, because it's too late once it's issued.
Right. So the couple things that I wanted to talk to you about before I go that are kind of major obstacles to putting this out. I want to get to a place where we have a RFP that's ready to go out. But there's two issues. One that's site specific, and I'll get to that first. In reviewing some of the old maps and that are out there, our engineers have recognized that there were 4 test pits done the last time this went out, and 3 of them were in the rear of the property, which is kind of where we're kind of thinking that the septic system is going to go. And then the 4th one is to the front of the property. And it kind of suggests that there were issues with the 3 in the back. And the only way we can get to an answer, we can't find out, we don't have the information as to who the engineer was that did it. The health department doesn't have, they didn't witness it, so they don't have any records of what that was. So there's a couple of issues. One is the stability of that slope in the back, and the other is around, does it perk? So I think before this goes out, we're going to have to do test pits, or you should do test pits to make sure that it perks, and that the slope in the back is stable.
Would that be our in-house Board of Health people or health department people?
I don't think so. I think it has to be done by an outside engineer. I have about $2,000 left in your grant, but that's probably not going to be enough to do what has to happen. So that's kind of one. I think it would be difficult to put it out without having that information.
Okay, we've got a funding source that we can avail ourselves of. The question the question is, who would go out to look for the engineer? I mean, how much are you talking about?
I haven't done it for a while. I'm not sure how much, I can find out from our engineers how much it would cost.
I'm just looking at competitive versus if it's small enough to not have to go up.
Oh, it's small enough. It's not 50 grand. It's small enough it's under 10. You can do it, you know, with best practices.
I suspect, Mr. Chairman, you can do it for between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
I'm saying this so Joe knows I'm saying this so Joe knows I'm thinking about it. I mean, so ultimately we don't have to go through another RFP because we're really stressed. It would be hard to get one out.
Right. No, you don't need to do an RFP. But we can talk about that. I just wanted to put it out there because I think that I think it's necessary. The other thing that is an obstacle.
Before you go anywhere, Belinda, on your notes, take note of the fact that that's going to be something we have to discuss and agree to.
Yes, noted.
Okay, thank you.
Hans, Joe, quick question, if I may.
Sure.
What was just discussed, was that engineering services?
Yes.
Yes, it would be.
That may be exempt under procurement, so we would just apply our internal best practices and could move fairly quickly on it, potentially.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I brought the whole subject up, because I think you'd be comfortable with that, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that we touched the other points.
Yep, so noted. Thank you.
Okay. The other one is, the other issue that I wanted to bring up is that there is an issue right now with the Attorney General's office and the disposition of public lands and whether that triggers public construction laws. It's a problem right now for affordable housing development and pretty much all use of public lands. There's been a couple
of... That's what trigger prevailing wage?
Prevailing wage and public construction, so it's filed sub bids and everything else. We are in the process of getting a meeting with the Attorney General's office, we as in the quasi-state agencies and DHCD, to try and get some further clarification. There's been a couple of bid protests that their decisions have kind of expanded on an SJC decision called Brassi. And right now it's not clear, but right now the AGO is kind of having a broad sweep as to what constitutes a public construction. These projects do not work if they have to go the public construction route. That's why municipalities and housing authorities don't build them themselves. So we're working on it, but it would be a risk to put an RFP out until we get. So that's kind of where we are.
From my perspective, I'd rather do this right than do it so fast that it's messed up. This is our centerpiece project.
That's right. No one wants to have a bid protest, and we'll get clarification. But I do want to get to a final RFP, so when we have clarification, we can get it out. But again, I would advise that it right now is not the environment to put it out, especially when a lot of folks their jobs have been put on hold, so they're out there looking at everything that's coming out. So sometimes you think, well, something on the Cape isn't going to get picked up, but we think pretty much everything's going to be right now.
Okay, good to know.
So that's my bad news, but I will keep working on this. I will get you an updated, edited version of the RFP and edited design guidelines, or a new set of guidelines that are Harwich specific. And and get that to you before your next meeting. And hopefully I'll have answers to some of these questions at the next meeting.
Good.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for Laura? Because she needs to go pretty soon. Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate you hanging in there for us here today.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Laura, take
Bye.
care.
That's why.
If I can get out.
That wasn't my problem. Getting in was.
I can kick you off if you want.
It's done.
Please do.
We're back to a program.
Okay. So, what's going on here? We're at the point of discussing Sisson Road. I'm not sure how much we need to discuss community engagement today because pretty clearly we're not ready to move in the next 2 weeks. So we don't have a urgent need to talk about community engagement, especially since we still aren't in a building and it's not likely we're going to be in one for a while, for at least a little while.
I would move then, Mr. Chairman, that we table this until it's next needed. We can't table.
Why don't I just continue it over so we don't have to take it off the table?
Agreed.
As we table it, we'll have to vote to take it off the table. I'm just going to blow by it and we'll schedule it again for next month.
Okay.
Bearing in mind that two of us can't see anything, do we want to discuss available properties or have we made any progress about that?
I think we do the same with that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Just keep a running total, Belinda.
We're doing that.
I can't see, so I'll assume you are. Okay, with the housing coordinator report then.
Okay, I'm up. So I had a lot of direct assistance and resident calls this month. I have 11 resident inquiries this month, all calling about rental assistance. So that's kind of, I've been busy with that aspect. People calling about rental assistance, mortgage assistance, and childcare resources. And you also have the monthly report. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. And also just wanted to give you a quick update on the Lower Cape Coronavirus Housing Response Meeting, which will be held tomorrow. We will revisit COVID-19 impacts such as summer businesses, unemployment, childcare resources. We will be joined by Chloe Schaefer, Chief Planner at Cape Cod Commission, to provide updates on Cape Cod COVID-19 data dashboard. Cindy Horgan is Executive Director at Cape Cod Children's Place, and Teresa Malone, Executive Director at Monomoy Community Services. They will be sharing childcare resources. Also, Judy Barrett of Barrett Planning Group will also be discussing local preference policy in the sphere of racial equity, diversity, and inclusion.
It would be interesting because you made WBZ News on the radio and on TV this morning for Chatham.
Oh, yes, yeah, the little outbreak here in Chatham, yes.
Infestation with a party.
Pretty unnerving.
Yeah, I'll be interested though in hearing what the outcome of that meeting, especially with childcare. Because that's a major problem right there, is that the people that we're reaching out to provide housing to, if they're at working age, it's not just them, it's what are they going to do with their children?
Yes.
If you'd like me to register you for that event, let me know. Happy to do it.
That's tomorrow when?
That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 12 via Zoom.
I thought that Andrea said that was a closed meeting.
No, this is it's a peer group meeting directly related to coronavirus housing response.
So
Open
Judith,
to
Larry.
anyone who would like to attend.
Judith, Larry, Brendan, yeah, I have something that I've got as another commitment, and I'm pretty sure knowing Joe, he's got like tons of stuff lined up for tomorrow.
So,
I'm on as the team leader for that meeting.
Okay, but she
Melinda,
just
what
invited
time
me.
is it on? Sorry?
It's at 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. I will try, but it's highly unlikely. I'll try though.
Okay, I'm only saying this because I knew what Charlene. I knew Charlene was involved, so I'm only saying this to the extent she just extended an invitation. I can't. I don't know about Joe, but that would make Judith a maybe. So whoever else that can do this, if you can email Belinda for information, that would be good.
It's Joe. It's already on my calendar, so I can keep it.
Oh, good. Maybe we don't have another DHY meeting, Joe.
Thank God you've got all that spare time, Joe.
Yeah.
And if I can just add one more update. So the eviction and foreclosure moratorium was extended to October 17th.
Right.
And the current law does grant the authority for the governor to extend the moratorium in increments up to 3 months. So it went from August 18th to October 17th.
Good.
That covers even affordable housing providers, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, just want everybody to hear that. All right, is that everything for Belinda? Does anybody have any questions for her?
Yeah, I just have a question. Like I understand if you have a mortgage, the companies are wrapping the mortgage around at the other end of your mortgage if you want. But how does that work if you're a renter? Does that mean that you don't need to repay the back rent?
I'm sorry, Judith, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I think what she's asking is, do renters have to basically continue paying rent, or at the end of all this, do they have to pay all the back rent?
They have to pay the back rent.
Well, this is only putting off paying the piper. It's not really doing anything to eliminate anybody's past woes.
Yep, that's all. You get that, Judith?
I did, and I mean, if you have a mortgage, it gets tagged on at the end, and there's some fees. But is the governor thinking of coming up with a? I'm just thinking of a renter, and they're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 more of what they need to pay. How are they going to do that in one lump? You guys following me? And also, if you're in affordable housing, how are you going to do that? And then do you get kicked out of affordable housing because you can't come up with that sizable, I'm sure, by the time that this fell over amount of money. It's not just people asking for a month or two, then, but or maybe if they come out with a new stimulus package, it's a non-issue.
And if I might, this is Charlene, a couple things on that is, one, what this is so you can't get evicted. So there are a lot of renters out there who are only able to pay a portion of their rent. Let's say their rent's $1,000 and they can only afford $500. So if they're consistently paying the $500, but they are in arrears, they can't be evicted. I truly hope that most landlords would be sympathetic to anybody and everybody to help them with catching up, a catch up on their rent. Also, Belinda, correct me if I'm wrong, but during one of our online meetings when we were doing the COVID, emergency rental assistance and all that, we did have reports from folks in various towns and various affordable housing agencies that they're at like 90-95% collection on their rental. So, and the folks who are behind, they're working very closely with. There are some entities that are actually calling weekly, monthly, bi-weekly their tenants to make sure they're okay. They don't want tenants, you know, paying the rent, but then not being able to buy food. So a lot of the affordable housing entities are working with their tenants to make sure that they're okay.
Right.
Along the lines of what Judith was saying, along the lines, Charlene, of what Judith was saying, in this construct, let's say they come up with some sort of extension, but then it finally expires. Does this forestall you having bad credit showing up while you're trying to catch up?
I can't answer that. I honestly don't know. That would be a question for a credit person. But that's why also the rental assistance for COVID-related, you know, in this what's going on now, that's why there are some towns implementing funds to help those. It's a forgivable loan to help those who are in need of immediate rental assistance due to COVID. So it's helping them to pay the rent in full, regardless of whether you qualify for affordable housing or not. This is even people who are at 100, 120, 150%. That was the whole impetus behind the COVID emergency rental assistance.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So moving along to the updates on have you finished, Belinda, or do you want to?
Yes, I'm all set. Thank you.
I only had the next item there so that people knew that we were working on it, and we got the change made. So the contract is as it is, the RP is as it is. Joe, would you have any idea when that can be slated to go out, or?
Right now, no, only because Griffin's not available, but I can follow up with him tomorrow and find out where it's at.
Okay. We were trying to make this easy lifting because what we really need is his brain to be able to actually put it out on the street. It's a fully formed product, and thank you, Charlene.
You're welcome.
So if you could put that on a tickle list and things to check when he might be able to get to that. I'm not asking him to develop an RFD.
Oh, understood.
Joe and Charlene, if he needs any help, let me know.
Will do.
Okay, in the meantime, Joe, since we're all together, you've heard me say this in a different venue, but you haven't heard me say it here. In the meantime, I'm signing off on individual purchase orders month to month to get us to September when it's likely, the earliest that it's likely for us to be able to pull this off, but we still need staff support.
All right, understood.
Okay. Any member reports? As I said, Art and I had an excellent vacation yesterday going up to Hyannis, Massachusetts on Cape Cod to see affordable housing. That's my contribution. Anybody have anything they want to end or things they want to see on the next agenda?
I have nothing.
Brendan?
Nothing.
Judith?
Nothing.
And Joe?
Nothing.
Okay. It was fitful and difficult, but thank you all for hanging in there. I would like to come up with a date for the next meeting because my promise is that we're not going to confuse the hell out of Charlene and Mary about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So the first thing is, are we good for August 20th at 2 p.m.?
That works for me.
Works for me.
Works for me.
Yes.
I'll talk with Megan over exactly what we can do and what we can't do. I mean, I'm pretty sure what we can do, but it was too late for me to say well, let's change and let's go back in our cars and go to, and Judith expressed some reticence anyway. As soon as we got the date, I'm going to ask Mary to put it aside so that we've already had a placeholder there, and then we'll figure out in what manner we'll meet.
John, this is Joe. If you're able to hang around, I can call you after this and update you on those kind of topics that I have with staff this afternoon.
Sure, sure.
Mr. Chairman, that being done, are you ready for the motion?
I sure am.
I would move this meeting be adjourned at 4:15 in the afternoon on 23rd of July.
You can wait the extra 3 minutes, but I got 3:42.
Let's see. I got 3:42 on my Apple too.
Does anybody want to second that?
Second.
Okay, so all in favor? Larry?
I'm in favor.
Yeah. Brendan?
Aye.
Judith?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I know it was kind of cumbersome, but thank you for hanging in there.